So, at Vegas RT 500, congratulations, you got my attention. And this video is dedicated to you and only you. A round of applause. And perhaps one of the most idiotic comments that I've ever read in my entire life. I don't know why you decide to name yourself like out of some NVIDIA graphics card. That's kind of weird. I don't know why you chose that name. But we're going to go through your comment. We're going to go through every sentence, every word, dissect it. And 2 months from now, when this fight takes place, Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, we're going to see who's right. And it's going to be me. Spoiler alert. I'm going to be right. How can you pick Cyril Gane for this fight? So, you say,
Gane is a better striker than Tom.
I disagree completely. I disagree completely. He's a decent striker for a heavyweight. Yes, he's one of the best heavyweights. That's not saying much. It's a horrible, shallow division. But Tom's striking is mixed with his speed and his power, which makes him so deadly. Cyril Gane doesn't have power. And yes, power matters when it comes to striking. Look at his knockouts, okay? Sergey Spivak. It took him a lot of shots to put down Sergey Spivak. A lot of body shots. Remember, Sergey Spivak had his rib busted. There's like a big giant swollen spot on the side of his body. A lot of liver kicks. And I remember in that knockdown sequence, Cyril Gane was literally throwing hammer fists on top of his head. It took a lot of shots to put Sergey Spivak down. Tom Aspinall does that with a single elbow. Tom Aspinall just needs one single elbow in the clinch to put Sergey Spivak down. Okay, let's look at the next one. Tai Tuivasa. Oh, and we have a lot to say about Tai Tuivasa. That was a tough, hard fight for Cyril Gane. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a 5-round fight. I think that was like the end. I could be wrong. I haven't seen that fight in a long time. Again, a lot of liver kicks, body kicks, just to put Tai Tuivasa down. Tai Tuivasa then goes on a 5-fight losing streak. Before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. Then he went on his heavyweight run, beating up a bunch of crappy heavyweights. The only noticeable win is Derek Lewis. He loses to Cyril Gane, then he proceeds to lose all these other fights. Okay? Bro, Tai Tuivasa, the fat walrus, the Western Sydney diarrhea monster, knocked Cyril Gane down. I want you just to imagine this scenario right here, okay? Let's pretend that instead of this being Tai Tuivasa, let's pretend that this was Tom Aspinall. And this exact sequence played out where it was a knockdown, and Cyril Gane's still lucid. He's still in the fight. He's about to get up. Do you honestly think that Tom Aspinall would fumble this position where Cyril Gane is up against the cage, his ass flat on the ground? There's a million different ways that Tom Aspinall would end this fight from this position. Tai Tuivasa literally pauses right there, just stares at him for 1 whole second and does nothing, and lets Cyril Gane back to his feet. He throws some punches to the side, but look, nothing happens. He just gets back up. The fat fucking walrus lets it slip. That's Tai Tuivasa. Tom Aspinall would not let that happen. The fight is over at that point, if Cyril Gane doesn't get brutally knocked out cold by Tom Aspinall. Okay, so that's the guy that you think is going to beat Tom. I don't know if you're French or something, because a lot of people are always going to root for their own countrymen. I'm American, so I have no real reason to root for Tom Aspinall. But how can you attribute that for Cyril Gane being a better striker than Tom? Tom wouldn't let this happen to him. Tom wouldn't get bullied in this manner and knocked down by this horrible fighter, because Tai Tuivasa really is a horrible fighter. Okay? Let's go to your next part. In my opinion,
If Tom does not win the fight in the first round, then the odds are that Gane is going to take over the fight. and beat Tom down and probably get a TKO finish in the third round.
Third round? That's very confident saying that. We've never seen Tom go to the third round. All of his fights in the UFC have ended in the first round except for one, which you do mention, the Arlovsky fight. The Arlovsky fight goes to round 2. That's the only time Tom Aspinall goes to the second round. In which you say Arlovsky took Tom into the second round and Tom had to take him to the ground because Arlovsky was winning the striking game. He wasn't winning the striking game, okay? He had some big thumping shots in there, which were nice, but Arlovsky was bleeding already going in the second round, whereas Tom Aspinall's face, if you rewatch the fight, it was completely fine. No bruises, no redness, no blood. Arlovsky was the one that was getting tagged. And by the way, he did take him down in the first minute. So the fight, it went to the second round, but all in all, it lasted 6 minutes. He took him down with the double leg, and then 5 seconds later, put him in the rear naked choke, and then it was over. They shook hands like gentlemen right after. And I don't know why you would bring up Arlovsky. That fight happened like 4 or 5 years ago. Tom Aspinall was like, what, 27, 26, maybe 28? I can't remember. It's kind of weird to bring up the Arlovsky fight. In that fight, remained standing, Arlovsky was going to club Tom over and over. Okay, it's MMA. He was going to club... Okay, takedowns exist. I don't know what your point is. I don't know what you mean by that. Arlovsky, by the way, could easily be Tom's father. The age difference is that great. Arlovsky was like 41 years old when that fight happened. Tom was like 27, 28. No, he couldn't be his father, but I know what you mean. Okay, yeah, 41 is old. I'll give you that. Yes, you shouldn't be fighting when you're 41, 42 years old, even though some people have had success. And by the way, Arlovsky, after he lost that Tom Aspinall fight, he went on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. So, I don't know, man. We've seen old guys. We've seen Glover Teixeira. We've seen, these types of fighters that they do have success. Today, this year is the year of the young. Alexei Olenek, he was an old guy. He was subbing guys when he was like 43, 44. Okay? So, that's kind of strange. And you have to go back 4 years ago against a Tom Aspinall. Newsflash, people can improve, from 4 years ago. Do you think that Tom Aspinall is the same fighter when he fought Arlovsky? No. He's been training a lot. This whole John Jones fiasco that he was supposed to fight, he was training this entire time just waiting for that fight to be announced. And now he's going to go into the Cyril Gane fight a complete menace. He's going to annihilate Cyril Gane. He's going to destroy him faster than the Germans destroyed France. That's how bad this is going to be. Okay? Everybody that Tom has fought has been able to tag him multiple times. That's not true. That is not true at all. I'll give you the Pavlovich fight. Pavlovich did tag Tom. And Tom ate that big hook like it was nothing. But what are the other fights, okay? The Martian Tybura fight. Did Tom get tagged in that one? No. The first Curtis Blades fight, he didn't get tagged. If you rewatch the replays, it was like very, very close, but he didn't get tagged. He got the freak leg injury, popped his knee. That was that. In the second Curtis Blades fight, he does get hit by an inside hook when Tom's coming in, but it was a grazing shot. Nothing really happened. It wasn't a knockout blow. What other fights? He didn't get tagged in the Volkov fight. He didn't get tagged in... Let's see, what are the other fights? Again, the Pavlovich fight, he did get tagged. He ate it. Volkov, Spivak, he didn't get tagged with Spivak. He got tagged briefly with Arlovsky, which you mentioned, and then all these other fights were just easy wins. I think he did get tagged by Alan Baudot a little bit, but nothing happened. I don't know why you'd bring that up. And by the way, like I mentioned, Cyril Gane isn't a one-hitter, quitter, haymaker, puncher like a Francis Ngannou or a Derek Lewis is, or a Sergey Pavlovich before he became gun-shy. He's not that guy. Cyril Gane doesn't have these brutal knockouts that just have the guy stiff out cold like a board. You're not going to see Cyril Gane knock out Curtis Blades the same way Curtis Blades got knocked out by Derek Lewis. You're just not going to see that. And honestly, I'd give Derek Lewis a higher chance of beating Tom Aspinall than Cyril Gane. Do you honestly think that Tom Aspinall is going to be up against the cage, getting the shit beat out of him, getting teed off by Cyril Gane, getting kneed up in the liver, up in the face, these big, wheel kicks thrown? No, man. Like, I'm sorry to say, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to, I don't see that ever happening. And also, you have to mention the mentality for this fight. Cyril Gane is busy filming movies. He's playing FIFA while Tom Aspinall is watching tape with his dad. I watched the UFC embedded videos, the vlogs. When Tom was going in with that Curtis Blades rematch, he was laying in bed with his dad just watching all of the tape, while Cyril Gane is just playing FIFA. The mentalities matter. Tom Aspinall has everything to lose in this coming fight. Cyril Gane, he's probably just coming in to collect the paycheck. He knows he's going to lose deep down. Cyril Gane, deep down in his soul, knows he's going to lose this fight. And then you say,
Tom is not John, so you cannot assign skill sets to him that John has.
I brought that up briefly because there were two sequences that reminded me a lot. Okay, and I'll mention this. If you watch the John Jones-Cyril Gane fight again, when John Jones took down Cyril Gane, it was due to Cyril Gane overextending himself with bad distance management. Cyril Gane was lazy. He threw a straight shot towards John. John ducked it and got the takedown, got his back, and that was it. It was over. Eventually, he got the guillotine. It was done. In the same manner that the Aspinall and Volkov fight, Volkov threw a similar straight right down the center. We all remember that one, where Aspinall timed probably the most beautiful takedown I've ever seen at heavyweight, where he just he's bobbing and weaving, he ducks the straight right, and then he just flawlessly takes down Alexander Volkov like it was nothing. He made Volkov look easy. It's very hard to make Volkov look easy. He schooled Volkov. I think something similar is going to happen. I don't think Gane has good distance management, especially not against a guy like Tom Aspinall, who's also very fast with probably the best fight IQ we've seen in a long time at heavyweight. And then you say,
this fight will look very different from the Gane vs. Jones fight.
You could say that for every fight. You could say that for any fight. I don't think it's going to look all that different. I've made the prediction that it's going to end in the first round, similar to the John Jones fight. Is it going to end, in the same time frame? Who can predict that? It might be slicing elbows. I could see Tom Aspinall go into side control and just slicing up Cyril Gane and opening him up, multiple cuts, and then it's just going to be a brutal bloodbath where the referee is just going to come in and probably stop the fight, maybe. I could see that. I could see a straight armbar similar to the Volkov submission. I could see multiple types of submissions. Kimura, maybe. Most likely rear naked choke, just because it's the easiest one. Guillotine, perhaps. I don't think the fight will look very different from the Jones fight, to be honest. I don't see it going to the second round, let alone the third. My God, you really said that. Wow. We'll see. The fight's about 2 months away, a little more than 2 months away. I'm so confident in this fight that I said in my previous video regarding this, I am willing to scoop up my dog's shit and eat it. Eat it live on stream. Because I give Tom Aspinall a 99.99% chance that he's going to win. And the only chance that he loses is by a 1 in a million unpredictable head kick KO out of nowhere. Something like Leon Edwards versus Usman 2. Something like that. Cyril Gane does have decent kicks. He doesn't land them all that often. Like he tried to do that hook or that crescent kick against Francis Ngannou, and Francis Ngannou literally just body slams him. But he does have fast, snappy kicks, so it might land. It could land. But is he going to land some big punch out of nowhere? No. That's not Cyril Gane's forte. He's never had a one-hitter quitter knockout where the guy is just drooling on the floor. It's never happened before. Tom does have those knockouts. Tom did it to Pavlovich. Tom did it to Tybura. I mean, the Tybura knockout wasn't, him drooling on the floor, but just knocked him all the way across the octagon. Cyril Gane's never had that. So, I mean, I could keep rambling, but thank you for giving me this comment. I do appreciate it. No sarcasm. It gives me more content, and I hope more people continue to comment. But we'll see. At Vegas RT 500. Cyril Gane. What a joke.